Early Mk2’s. Era 5 version 1 Mk2’s, Era 6 Mk2’s, Era 7, 8, 9 Mk2’As, Era 10 and 11 Mk2’s. TSO Tourist Second Open, BSO Brake Second Open, BFO Brake First Open, FK First Corridor, BFK Brake First Corridor, BSOT Micro Buffet. Eastern, Midlands, Western, Southeast, regional and even modern mainline rail tours. Let's have a chat with Ben and we'll talk about what we've done, why we've done it, and we'll go through the packs. Now then, Ben.
Hi, Chris.
How you doing?
Yeah, really well. You?
A long time no see. Seems like it was, I don't know, was it a week ago we were sat in these chairs?
A week or maybe 2 weeks, yeah. Yeah.
Right. Early Mk2’s. That's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
And that is what the TMC have commissioned Heljan to bring to market. It's an exclusive for the TMC. And what I think we'd really like to do today is talk to you about why and what and go into some nice details without going too technical, I think, really. Now then, I think something that we touched upon in our little teaser was that when Ben and I spoke together at the Key Model World, was how we weren't so keen on the scattergun approach of how some stock gets brought to market, leaving it up to either the forums or the individual to go and hunt down what they're supposed to be doing with some of this stuff. Not that it really matters with the old use of Rule 1, but if you actually want to go beyond that, and if we want to try and take TT120 to a market that's going to be bringing out more, like the show people. Mm-hmm. When I mean the show people, I mean the people who habitually, but they'll be showing a layout while in the background they're building their next one for 2 years' time. Mm-hmm. I want them to take this scale seriously because I think it looks so good. Yeah. And I think it's not only is it a perfect size for people at home for their own home layouts, but I think it's a perfect size for the show circuit. And I think once we crack that, I think then maybe some of the walls, some of the barriers might fall down about taking this scale seriously. So when we went about picking these products, we went about it seriously, didn't we?
We did. We really got into it in a lot of depth. Yeah. We wanted to make it coherent, to make it usable, and based in the way the real things were used.
Yeah. And we thought we want to try and hit as many locos that we know are already in production or available. Yeah. As many locos that are in the pipeline, whether that's actually something that's already in pre-order place or whether that's something that is on someone's list to do. And we also wanted to try and cover as much of the country as possible, didn't we?
That's right, yeah.
So, and a lot of this has happened because of a lot of hard work in the background. Right? This doesn't just happen overnight. You don't just go to it. There's not a book that tells you these are all the things you need to do. Mm-hmm. So there's been a lot of effort from the TMC, from Martin and from Howard, have been putting a lot of work working with Ben.
And you've put a lot into it as well.
I'm just a celebrity who turns up and smiles.
It's important to, I think, from your point of view, you've been asking us questions about why are we doing these, why are we doing that colour in that region, or why, and what did these things do? And I think that's helped us to distill the original idea into something that's much more workable and usable. So no, don't undersell yourself.
Right, so I know we've got 3, trying to remember what comes up to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and arguably we've got 5 or 6 different colour schemes.
So 1, 2, blue and grey, various different versions of blue and grey. Yeah. Regional railways, Network South East, West Coast, maroon, and BR line maroon, original 1960s.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's 5, and then there's some variations on the blue and grey theme as
Exactly.
well.
So we're covering a whole great big area of things now. Something that I think that might also be intriguing to the new people is we've brought these out predominantly. We've got remember the numbers. Dun, dun, dun. We have 8 4-packs.
Yep.
And then 4 individuals.
Yep.
So the reason for the 4-pack thing is, well, I guess to a certain extent it takes the guessing away.
Yep.
It also helps us, and if we're absolutely brutally honest, these aren't cheap things to bring to market. So it does mean that it's one way of us trying to get that price point that works for us and hopefully works for you too. We can't produce the kind of quantities that I think it's reasonable to say Hornby can do and have done. So it's a real struggle to bring something as super detailed as you want, as Heljan wants to bring, and also and working to a very high standard. Because let's face it, the Mark ones that Hornby brought out when it comes to actually rolling have already got a really quite high bar. But I think we want to go we want to push the envelope a little bit with detail.
They need to be usable, and they need to be beautiful and usable.
That's
I
it.
think that would be my key things. But
all that comes at a cost, though.
Yes, yeah, and tooling, decoration, assembly. That's that all mounts up, and it costs money. I think we've got these in at a good price point for the quality they will deliver. Just going back to the packs as well, I think it's important to, because we started with a clean sheet of paper in TT. We wanted to find a way to make these coherent, and we also think that TT is really well suited to these match train packs because it's relatively small. You could doing this in double or something like that requires a much bigger sort of space, whereas TT it can fit into a nice neat package that's storable if you're not using it. And it takes, as you touched on it as well, it takes the uncertainty out of it because you know that the train is it matches. It's all together, and also I think there have been occasions already with TT where certain vehicles have sold out before the others. So a lot of customers who are coming into it maybe a bit later are finding that they can get perhaps a brake coach or a first, but they can't get the second class coaches.
They can't get the full train.
So they can't make a full train up until there's another production run or something like that. We want to try and avoid that and deliver everything that people need in one pack.
Excellent. Well, I like the idea. Right. What we think you might appreciate, particularly the newbies, or actually any of you really, is that we have a little breakdown, pack by pack. The graphics will appear here, and a little train will run, or a little locomotive will run along the front, just to give you a steer that you can, if you want to come back to this video and check out, then you can, or make notes from. So, let's start. Pack 1. This is the Mark II Z.
Mark II Z. Yes.
So why isn't this the last pack to be made? Do you want to quickly explain that?
Okay, so Z on the railway tends to be used for things that are slightly unusual or out of the ordinary, or need to be sort of classified as it needs to be obvious to the operators that they're a different thing. So these were the first production batch of Mark II's built, and were originally
just called Mark II's.
Mark II's, and but they were different to all the later builds in the fact that they were vacuum. They had vacuum brakes. Which is the traditional railway way of braking. That was at the time the Mark II's were coming in. BR was in the process of beginning to move over to air braking.
Because we still had Black 5s or 5 MTs.
Still steam locos and all the early diesel locos were all vacuum braked.
So it wasn't just the steam locos that were vacuum, it was also the early diesels. Right, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You learn something new every day, children. Right.
Logically you would change over to air braking at the same time as you changed from steam to diesel, but they didn't do that. So.
Well, that's a benefit for us because obviously the main locomotive that we think that matches this is the new all blue Class 50. I think it's was it Barham. But we also believe, well, we know Hornby have had enough hints, and I think Tim Allen has been begging for long enough that we're going to be getting from Hornby at some point in the not too distant future a Black 5 or a 5MT. I presume it's going to be a Black 5. But they're all 5MTs, aren't they? But the Black 5 is probably the one.
Yeah, a Stanier Black 5 as opposed to a British Railways standard one.
Yeah. And it'll be a late logo. It'll be one of the... So these wouldn't be pulled by LMS, but it is in that region.
Yeah.
But it's a late logo.
Steam on the Midland region didn't finish till August 1968.
Right.
And these early Mark IIs were delivered from about 65 onwards.
Right.
So there's a
nice little crossover.
There's a crossover period. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, also we know that Hornby, although they haven't told us when it's going to turn up, we have seen, and I hate saying this number because it can bring up old memories, but old wounds. But the 31. These. So tell us about what the 31s have been doing with this.
Well, you could use it with a 31 on a sort of reasonably short secondary passenger train, something like that.
So this would so a 31 pulling these would definitely be something that would be put in like a 4. It wouldn't be adding on with the other packs. But we wouldn't be doing that anyway.
When these coaches were first introduced, they were either in some cases they were sort of filtered into existing passenger trains as individual vehicles. So you got a mix of blue and grey and maroon, and then on the West Coast Main Line you'd got more joined up sets. So you'd got sets of Mark IIs with Mark 1 buffies and things like that were all blue and grey for the sort of front line trains. Right. So you could use these with almost anything that was on the London Midland region at the time.
Right. Okay. And now, what I'm hoping for, but I don't know if Heljan are doing this, or if Hornby are doing this, or if I can persuade somebody else to do this. I'd like to see a peak putting these, a 45 or something. Yeah.
Well, they also worked on the Midland Main Line later on, so you could easily do it with a peak.
Yeah. So although that's not something that's on the cards at the moment, we do know 50. You've got something almost in the bag for that. Black 5 and 31 we know are in somewhere in the pipeline. And even by this video, they may have announced a Black 5. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows if we're doing something for the NEC? And I think maybe we can start trying to badger people for a 45 for a peak. Let's move on to Pack 2.
Okay.
Now, Pack 2 and Pack 3 are actually kind of linked, but because they're pretty much the same. There's slight differences, but we'll talk about them separately. So, Pack 2, right? Now we've got in here, was it a TSO, a BFK? Yeah. Well, it's 3 TSOs. Tell them what a TSO is.
So a TSO it stands for Tourist Second Open, and it's a term. The tourist term dates back to LNER days, and it's a coach with 2 seats on one side and 2 seats on the other. So
pretty much like what we're sitting in.
Like exactly what we're sitting in. Yeah.
Now, what about a BFK?
A BFK is a break first with a side corridor. So the seats are arranged in compartments in a traditional style. Yeah. You get 6 seats in a compartment with a corridor along the side of the compartment.
So, and remind them why it's a K, not a C.
Because C stands for composite,
yeah,
which is a coach with both first and second class in it.
Which is always a tricky one. Right, okay, so what we're looking at here, again, we think the main loco really is going to be the 50.
Yeah, a blue class 50 would be perfect for this, for the sort of mid-1970s onwards.
Yeah, but the because this is West Coast, isn't it? So
no, it's Western region.
Western region,
Western
region. Yeah. So we wouldn't have seen Deltics on this, would we?
No,
right. So the Class 50. Also, we think the 40. This is going to be a very good match for the 47s.
Perfect for a 47, or we were talking about a peak just now. A Class 45 could also work it.
But 37s. Would you be shocked for pulling 4 of these behind a 37?
It wouldn't be completely out of the way. The Western region had 37s for working in South Wales. Yeah. We have to give them something for them to comment on below that we've got wrong. So yeah. But I mean, the Western region Class 37s in Wales were mainly freight locos, but they did get out on passenger trains as well.
And then now obviously these can be put together, packs 2 and 3.
Yes.
And that again is although pack 3 from pack 2 they can be run as separate trains, because actually they're not an exact copy, are they? Because pack 3 it's a TSO, then a FK, then a BFK.
Yeah.
Because the FK is just first class, isn't it?
FK is a complete first class coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Western region trains traditionally tended to have a bit more first class in them than some of the other regions. So
Is it Bosher out west?
yeah,
In the
you
east?
know what it's like. It's a lot wealthier down that way.
Oh, right. So, but these 2 packs do make a perfect match for a longer train, which would have predominantly been pulled by a 50, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you could put those together, and hopefully at some point somebody will bring out a Mark 1 catering car that would supplement these, and then you've got a perfect Western Region express train of the 1970s.
That's right, because there isn't a buffet in the Mark II apart from a mini buffet.
No, when BR was building Mark 1s, it built far too many catering cars, and when they came to building the Mark 2s, they'd got surplus already, so they didn't need to build any extra ones. They ran with Mark 1 buffet and restaurant cars.
Yeah. So we do need someone to bring out a Mark 1 buffet.
Well, I mean, we'll come to it later. We have got a little option in this.
We have
that we'll mention
we've
later.
We've got a little trick, haven't we?
Yeah, but yeah. So
Right.
there's not a full restaurant car in a Mark II because it never existed.
No. Now packs 4 and 5, which I'm predicting to be possibly the most popular and probably the first to run out if you don't get your pre-orders in, guys. And the reason for that is that the 55s pulled these.
Yes.
Yeah, the Deltics pulled these.
Before the air-conditioned Mark IIs were introduced on the East Coast Main Line, the Deltics hauled Mark II A's.
Yeah.
So if anybody's ever seen Get Carter, the film, the Michael Caine film,
yeah,
that's what he's riding in when he goes back to
That's
Newcastle.
Right. That's
So
right.
this is the Get Carter train.
Excellent.
So it can be hauled by a green Deltic with a full yellow end.
So that's a two-tone green with a full yellow.
With a big yellow end on.
Yeah.
They're a bit late for green, perhaps green with the smaller yellow end.
Yeah.
But yeah, or a blue Deltic, and that's from sort of late 60s through to when the Deltic's finished.
Yeah, brilliant.
The
Excellent.
great thing about these is they're not just for East Coast Main Line, because once the air-conditioned Mark IIs came into use in the sort of 74 or something like that, these were cascaded to secondary duties.
Right.
So you can use them with a Class 45, 31, 37, and you can use them because they ran Transpennine trains, so Liverpool, Newcastle.
Right.
Perfect for that.
Did they leave the intercity sticker on them? Because obviously these are different to Pack 1, which is just a plain blue grey. These do have the little intercity logo on. So did the intercity logo survive even though they weren't doing intercity? Or?
It did. There were a lot of services from the 70s and through to the 80s. There were a lot of services that we wouldn't now regard as intercity that were under the intercity brand.
Right.
So particularly like Liverpool Newcastle, which was part of the intercity network.
Right.
And then Pack 4, which has got three second opens and a brake first.
Yep.
Is perfect for the 1980s. What they call the South Transpennine, so Cleethorpes, Sheffield, Manchester.
Right.
And that's just that can be used on its own as a four coach train with a Class 31.
Ah, right. So excellent. So again, there's that word 31.
Yeah.
Right. Let's moving on from Pack 4 and 5. Let's look at Pack 6. Again, this is sort of linked with Pack 7. So this is my favourite in the Network South East, the toothpaste tubes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the 50 that Hornby brought out, it's in this earlier blue version.
Yeah.
So we brought these out in the early blue version to match with that, because although they did change the blue tone,
They did.
we don't have anything on the horizon at the moment when it comes to locomotive power. So we've gone along with the lighter blue.
Yeah, we've tried to match it with what we know is going to be available. So yeah, we've gone for the original lighter NSE blue.
Yeah.
Hopefully there'll be a A late NSE blue 50 come along at some point in the darker blue with the straight bands. But to start with, we've got the original livery, which is perfect.
But even in this livery, they're not restricted to logos in that livery, are they?
No.
Because the 50s, the blue 50s with the big logo, BR blue.
Absolutely, yeah. Large logo blue 50s lasted right through to the end of Class 50 operation with NSE.
Yeah.
So there was always a mix of liveries. So you can run this quite easily with a large logo blue 50, which is already available, and then the NSE one when it comes.
Yeah. Now, obviously, these will make a perfectly acceptable train with four vehicles. Let's double check. Are they the same? We've got TSO, BFK.
No, they're not the same. So pack 6 has got 3 TSOs, second opens, and a brake first.
Yeah.
And pack 7 has got 2 TSOs, a brake first, and a full FK.
Yeah.
The Waterloo Exeter trains were the regular formation. Almost always had 2 brake firsts in it.
Right. Okay.
The full first was less common, but there were some in the fleet.
So that Waterloo Exeter, it would have been something that would have been an 8 coach or something along those lines.
They were 9s usually.
Oh, right. Okay.
But 8 is going to be pretty acceptable for most requirements, I would have thought.
Now I've seen pictures, but the thing is, I'm never really quite sure whether I'm looking at something that's got a Mark 1 in there so they did mix these up a little bit. You did get some blue greys run with these.
Yeah. Well, there's obviously, when you're repainting a fleet of coaches, there's a sort of transition period. They're not all instantly repainted at the same time. So there was a transition period of at least a couple of years where the fleet was gradually going through works and getting a new livery.
Yeah.
So you could bolster that to a 9 with a single blue and grey or something like that.
Yeah. What, something with a little mini buffet in, you mean?
Sadly not, I'm afraid.
No,
not on this one, because the brake that we're doing, the BSO, they didn't work with Networks Out East.
Oh, so they had to go all the way to Exeter without having a cup of tea.
They did have a microbuffet in, but it was a different kind of coach to the one we're producing occasionally. Yeah.
The details, people. Yeah. Now, this one might confuse some people because there isn't a logo yet in this, and that is the Pack 8. Mm-hmm. Right, which is the regional railways. Again, these are Mark 2As. I've seen this livery because I've seen the printed samples of the 122, or they've got printed colour samples, aren't they?
Yeah.
And in that, if it's anything like that paint job, these are actually going to look spectacular. They
really
look much better than they do on the printed page. I think they can look a little bit dull.
Yeah.
When you see them in the real life, I think they really do pop.
That's really nice.
So come on then, right? I'm assuming 31s, 37s.
Exactly.
Large logos.
Yeah. Large logo 37.4, as exactly as the one that Hornby's producing 408.
So these are a really good match for that one with a little Scotty dog on the side.
Absolutely. Yeah. And blue 31. Or hopefully in the fullness of time a Regional Railways 31 might come along.
Yeah.
And maybe a Regional Railways 37.4 at some point.
Yeah.
But so the locos, there are some locos available already for this.
Yeah.
And hopefully there'll be some more to come in the future.
Perfect. Now, Pack 9.
Mm-hmm.
My favourite.
Right. Okay.
And the one that I demanded. I don't know whether or not I'm gonna have to fall on my sword for this one, but I don't think I will, because explain this one. Explain this. Look at the pictures are here. Right. I think they're going to look stunning.
Oh, they will, absolutely. Yeah, I think. Well, Pack 9 is West Coast Railways maroon, which is, as you'll have seen if you've ever been out to see any steam haul mainline rail tours, you'll see generally see West Coast out and about there.
There's some great videos of like I've seen a Black 5 pulling these and over Ribblehead.
Mm-hmm.
I think this summer.
Yeah. They go because they're used on rail tours, charter trains. They go all over the network, and they can be pulled by almost anything. So
I should say this is we're not talking modern era.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is your stuff for now. So if you're at home, you've got that. You've got some modern stuff going on, or you want to do a preservation line, and you want something to go out on the main loop. and go at pace behind the Flying Scotsman or Trigo, or behind Sir Nigel Gresley,
Yeah.
or because
Or a Deltic.
yeah, I mean, Bitton's coming out soon. I don't mean as in a model. I mean the real one's coming back out, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be in Garter Blue. So then what you then need is a crafty company who can take your Mallard or your Sir Nigel Gresley in Garter Blue and put Bitton on the side for you
Yeah,
and
yeah,
renumber
yeah.
it.
Do we know anybody who can do
Oh,
that?
I don't know. Right. So these, I think, as we say, pretty much anything. We've got current A3s. A3. The only thing that won't pull is an A1.
Mm-hmm.
So the A3s, the A4s, Duchesses.
Yep.
Right, because the
Yep.
Duchess of Sutherland will be is pulling something like this now.
Yeah, Class 47s. Obviously, West Coast got a fleet of those.
Yeah.
37s as well.
Yeah. Obviously, Black 5.
A Black 5,
Yeah.
and you can mix them. Obviously, this is just a 4-pack of Mark 2s, but in the real charter trains, they normally run mixed with Mark 1s of various kinds.
Yeah.
So you could mix it up with some maroon Mark 1s.
How about
maybe
how about the Heritage Mark the Deltics that are around?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
like
So
the
they've
boys.
run with the, you could run it with a green Deltic.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Or a blue, or a blue Deltic. In the first batch of Class 55s, there are a couple of preserved ones,
Right.
preserved mainline ones that have got later details on,
Yeah.
electrification flashes and things that are absolutely perfect for this.
Brilliant. I mean, I think that these are going to look stunning, and like you said, they can be mixed and matched with a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Locos wise, almost anything. Coaches wise, maroon Mark 1s, maybe even the odd Pullman car, things like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
because charter trains are pretty much
Yeah. Who's it?
sort of anything goes.
Who's got a nice Pullman? I can't remember now. One of the is it the West Coast Main Line? Well, I'm
West
sure.
Coast Railways have got some Pullman cars, yeah, and LSL, the other sort of main operator of mainline charter trains, have got various different kinds of suitable cars. Yeah.
Last but not least, we're gonna look at these little single ones.
Yeah.
And first is, and this one, arguably, are we helping Hornby with this one? I think.
Well, yeah.
Because this first one, it's an early Mark II version. It's the version 1 Mark II, even before it was called the Z.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
right. Yeah. So there was a prototype before the blue and grey ones came out, because the main production batch were all delivered in the then new blue and grey corporate image. But the Mark IIs, the prototype batch came out about a year earlier, and they were outshopped in. Most were in maroon, but there were some in southern region green as well.
Yeah.
And they did their initial years of service in BR maroon.
Excellent. And so, as this is a first class coach, this would be, when these were introduced, they would have been put amongst Mark 1s, wouldn't
Absolutely,
they?
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wouldn't have been
Yeah.
full length of these. They would have
No.
been put in as a posh carriage for. So
Yeah.
this is really prototypical to be stuck in amongst what we've already got from Hornby when it comes to the maroon Mark 1s.
Yeah, so if you're running a train of maroon Mark 1s already with an A3, an A4, a green, well, you will be able to run it with a green Deltic at some point, or a Duchess, because the maroon ones worked on both Eastern region and Midland region. You'll be able to boost that train with a nice new first class Mark II.
Excellent. I know that the graphics are here and we're pointing down there, but I can't do this without pretty pictures in front of me. Right. Now the next two, which is basically they're pretty much, am I right in saying they're pretty much the same carriage, but one's a Western region number and one's an Eastern.
Exactly.
And they're both intercity.
Yeah.
And these are TSOs, and they really are but these are boosters, aren't they?
They're basically designed so that you can, if you buy one pipe, you can boost it to a 5.
Yeah.
Or if you buy 2 pipes, you can have a 9 car, or extend the train as much as you want.
Yeah.
But it's about keeping. One of the things we have tried to think about with all these packs and with the boosters is maintaining a correct and authentic proportion of first and second class in the trains.
Yeah.
Because quite often, the way that model production has happened over the years is that people have ended up with far too many first-class vehicles, or too many brakes because of the way that production has been organised. With this, we're really trying to make sure that there's the second-class accommodation is prototypical.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's really been the heart of what we've been trying to do. It's what's been running through the middle of all of this, isn't it?
Yeah.
All of our thinking and planning.
Yeah.
Last but not least, and again one of my little favourites, just because of the pretty little bit of red at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Come on, tell them about this.
So a small number of Mark II Z brake second opens. So that's the BSO. So it's like the kind of coach we're sitting in, but it's half of it is taken up by a brake. We've not really mentioned those further on earlier on with the other packs, but there are some BSOs in some of the packs.
Yeah.
But some of them were converted to. They took 2 bays of seating out at one end and put a little buffet counter in where you could get tea or coffee or a sandwich.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were done for secondary secondary passenger trains that didn't justify the inclusion of a full restaurant or buffet car.
Yeah.
And they were used on the Eastern and then later on in Scotland.
Right. So this is a nice add-on to either pack 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, they're the Eastern.
It,
yes. Yeah, that's right. The 2 Eastern region packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the but would these wouldn't have been stuck on the end of things like the region, would it? No, because they'd have all been repainted by then, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
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 If you put in this little buffet with anything else, you're using rule 1 basically. But
or hopefully at some point somebody will make some blue and grey Mark 1s, and then you can make a nice little train of maybe a pack of our blue and grey Mark 2s, a couple of Mark 1s, and one of these just to make a nice either an Eastern region or a Scottish region blue and grey train, sort of of the 1980s. But it's quite flexible. You can use it with in lots of different scenarios.
Yeah. I'm sure Martin will be watching this. He tells me he watches, so he can be taking notes. Is this bullying? Are we bullying Hornby into making us what we want to make?
But no, I wouldn't call it that. But yeah, it's nice to make things that complement
100%.
What else is out there.
Yeah.
So and again, that's something that's run right through what we've discussed in this project.
Now, that might seem like the end of the video, but actually, there's a couple of little things that I want to talk about for the future. Now, something that I know that you've done in the CAD for this is you've left space in the roof so that in the future you might fit something in there. So do you want to tell the boys and girls about that? Yeah,
we've as with our all-gauge Mark IIs,
I'm looking at one right now.
Yeah, we've left space in the roof for a lighting bar.
Yeah.
So there's on the top of the partitions on the model. I don't know whether you can see that.
I'll put a cut in.
Yeah. There's on the models there will be a slot, and the lighting bar will just drop straight in, and it works really well on our all-gauge Mark IIs.
So this is something where the people have to take the bodies off.
Yep.
And then put it in, but we're not going to be wiring down to the axles.
No.
What we're going to be doing?
So it'll have you'll be able to use a little coin battery of some sort, which will be housed in one end of the coach.
Is that switched by a wand or?
No, it'll come on.
It's motion.
It's motion sensor.
Excellent.
That's the way we've done it in the all gauge Mark IIs.
Yeah.
So the plan is to do something similar to that.
And I presume that the motion starts it, but then it has some kind of capacitor so that when it stops at a station, the lights stay on.
Exactly, the lights don't just go off again straight away when there's no motion. There will there's a capacitor, as you say, which will keep the lights on for 30 seconds or a minute or something like that. Yeah. So you stop at station, the lights stay on, and then you go again. And every time there's any motion, the sensor reacts to it and keeps the lights on.
Now, how we actually go about, when I say we, I mean the TMC goes about how we introduce that is got a lot of that's going to do with how the pickup of this product is. If you guys love it and you want it, and you keep telling us that you're interested in the lights, and that's something that we may introduce sooner than later. It might be an individual kit that you just plop in yourself, because we think that's going to be quite a simple thing to do. And it certainly cuts down on labour, which increases the price of the carriage. So that we think that might be the best option. Should we ever talk about taking the bodies on and off? Because I know on your Deltic, they're magnets, aren't they? So are you doing something like that with this?
We'd like to do. We're still at a very early stage, so we haven't identified the sort of optimum way of doing it yet.
Right.
On our O gauge Mark II's, the whole roof is separate and it's held on by magnets. You just detach that, and it gives you easy access to the interior. That might not be feasible with the TT ones, but we will design it in a way that the bodies. Let me rephrase that. We'll design it in a way that it's easy to access the interior.
Yes.
Whichever way we decide to do it. But
Yeah. But we're not going to be screwing it in.
No. And it won't all be clipped together like a Chinese, like a Chinese puzzle box or something like that. No. Like some coaches are.
It'll try and make it
easy to access the interior. If anybody's seen our Class 104 in double O gauge, the body for that is held on with magnets as well, and it's extremely easy to get the body off without damaging any of the fragile underframe parts.
Yeah, and although I know you're advanced in the CAD work with these, you're very advanced in the CAD work because these actually they started from the O gauge and you've been working on this for a while.
Yeah,
there are little things like that we just need to iron out. So it doesn't mean that it's a long way away. This is something that's actually happening right now, isn't it? Yeah. And there was one other thing that I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, the other liveries.
Okay.
So, as you said, with that original Mark II, there was Southern Green versions of that. Pretty sure I've seen a Mark II in Western chocolate and cream. Is that right? Or?
Some of the vintage trains in Birmingham has got some early Mark II's that are painted chocolate and cream that it uses on steam charters. Yeah.
Is there anything else out there that we might think of in the future if this is something that actually is popular?
There's quite a few different liveries, yeah. I mean, again, if anybody's seen our old gauge Mark II's, they'll have seen the liveries that we produce those in. So, as well as the early Network South East livery, there's the later version with the darker blue. There's Transpennine, which is a bit like regional railways, but a slightly different arrangement of colours. Yeah. There were even some odd intercity livery with the red and white stripe, only single coaches in that. Unfortunately, there were never any of the second class ones painted in intercity. Unfortunately, so they'd just be brakes, and they could work with intercity, other kinds of intercity Mark II's and things like that.
Now we may be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because although we'd both like to have all those, everything that's possible, but realistically they won't happen until you've bought these. It's as simple as that. It's simple economics. Yeah. Although if we do have a very high proportion of pre-orders, and we feel like if one of these sells out in pre-order, which it might possibly do because we're not making these in the numbers that that some of the other that Hornby have done, for example, or Bachmann has done in 00. So some of these might actually become very attractive and get snapped up.
I mean, it's not our call, but if you suddenly get huge demand for a Southern Region Green Mark II FK, for instance, then you're going to be on the phone to us saying we need to to include these. Yeah. But we don't know that until until you start getting the orders in. Yeah,
until you guys start trying to commit to what we're up to. And the idea has always been from the off is let's make some proper carriages and some proper trains for the stuff that's not only available but in the pipeline, so that people can really start to make some proper plans about what they're doing. I know it's fine and most people are enjoying doing what they like, but I do feel like that to get this scale really accepted by and maybe we don't need to be accepted, but it would be nice to be accepted if you could go into a show and find them talking about this scale in the same way that they talk about all the other scales, rather than just being something that's a little bit in some cases some of them feel like it's an annoyance, but
that's a shame.
We just need to go. I want to try and push past that. I know there's a few people call me preachy, not peachy.
I think one of the great advantages of TT, because of the scale of it, is that it's a perfect size for creating scale length trains in a realistic space.
Yeah.
So if you want an 8 or a 9 coach train, that's often quite difficult to do in double O and certainly in O gauge. But in TT, it's absolutely achievable, and that's why we've taken the approach we have with these.
Yeah. Now I know the moment you say something like that, you'll always say, people will say, well, you can do that in N, which you can, but the detail that we're putting in these things, I think it's pushing what is being achieved in double O. I think it's certainly better than some stuff that's in double O. We didn't mention the multicoloured interiors.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We should definitely mention that.
You know, because we've got things like, you know, we've got, I think in some instances we have 3 colours in the interiors. We've got blue moulded seating. Obviously, we're not going to pick out every little stitch.
Yeah.
Black tabletops, for example. And
it's not possible to go to the lengths that we have done in O gauge and have multicoloured interiors with different tabletops, different seats, different floors, and partition walls and all that. We are, because of the small size of it, we are relatively limited on what we can do. But yeah, the seats, the tables, the partition walls, and the brake van areas will be different. Will be different colours, the appropriate colours for each area, and they will differ for the early liveries and the later liveries as well.
Yeah, and that will really pop if we put lighting in them. Because you put lighting in a Mark 1 at the moment, you're just going to have full brown everywhere. But what we wanted to do is if you guys want lighting, then we need therefore a reason for you to have lighting so you can see what's going on inside these.
Well, the other good thing about being able to access the bodies inside the bodies easily, as we were talking about before, is that you'll be able to put passengers in them.
Yeah.
And they really do pop when there's lighting in there. So,
don't worry, I've been banging on Model U's door for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure where we're at with that yet.
Good business for them if you need to fill an 8-coach train.
Well, precisely. Well, either that or Chris will have a heart attack from just being in that little manufacturing room printing out thousands and thousands
of TT passengers.
Yeah. Exactly. Right, Ben, I think this has been fantastic. I'm hoping this is the kind of information that that our customers or that our viewers want.
Good. Well, I'm really I know it's a lot of information because obviously there's a lot of different products in there, but hopefully we've got across the amount of planning and thought and care that's gone into these.
Yeah. Excellent. Right, Ben.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
See you soon. Oh, hang on. Should we leave them with one last teaser?
No, I can do.
We've had a conversation about the next loco, but that's it. Or do I cut that off? Should I cut that bit off? No, I'll leave that bit in.
No, because there's me looking really surprised.
No, I'm definitely leaving it in.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to tell. I'll be on my way now, sir. I've got urgent business in the south. I have to meet a man at Melbourne Junction.